Hi everybody. Why do I see the light flickering? Because of this light? Hey EJ, the light's still flickering. You think because of this light?
No, can't be.
Right?
Close the bathroom. That fix it?
No. Weird. Hi everybody. Hi. This is me, Luna. You're watching Luna Ơi, my channel, and we still in a hotel.
Did that fix it?
Nope. So this one flickering.
That's impossible.
Right? Yeah. Stop now.
Is this okay?
And I look. Wait. Can you choose it like bright? You can have a like. Do they have a white? No, I look like a dead ghost.
You look like a dead ghost.
Nope. No. That is better.
It's better, but it's also impossible.
Exactly. So just leave it, move it back there, I guess. Okay, fine.
Put it over here.
Okay.
I mean, it's a party. Maybe you want it to be a little intimate.
Yeah, right. Intimate.
Don't move your phone.
A bit weird.
You can't play with your phone
okay.
during stream. You need to have this right here.
All right. Okay. Bit weird, but okay.
Open the bathroom. There you go. That's okay. It's very intimate. Intimate little party. Not the kind of party we were planning on throwing.
No.
This is like the kind of party where Luna brings out little hors d'oeuvres and we open a bottle of wine and we talk about culture.
Can you give my headband down there on the suitcase? I can be breathing a little bit.
Your moon band?
How do I look at this? Okay, better. All right. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to my Mooncast. And
it's kind of cool looking, actually. I like it.
Actually, yeah, right. I mean, if you, okay, you have a special taste. All right. Thank you. State fishing.
Where'd my sticky rice go?
Over there, I see it. Thank you, State fishing. Congrats on 80K. Yes, I haven't done this in so long since I had like 50K, I think. But yeah, I just got 50K subscribers like last night or something, and I am very happy. And welcome everybody to my Mooncast today. Today we're gonna have a party because.
Don't be too excited.
Don't be too excited. I'm not being too excited.
I know, I was being sarcastic.
I know. I'm very excited. Look at my face. I'm very fucking excited. All right.
Hey, tell everybody that subscribes to Luna Oi to subscribe to Luna Oi Live so they can see all your streams.
Exactly. So if you like watching me live streaming like this, poor quality and low light, but high content quality, please subscribe to my live stream channel Luna Oi Live.
YouTube.com/Luna Oi Live.
Yeah, youtube.com/Luna Oi Live. Very simple like that. And it is just for of the archive of my live stream. So I still live stream on my main channel, but right after that, I
Broadcast doesn't go on your main channel?
unlisted.
Broadcast doesn't go on your main channel?
No, broadcast doesn't go on my main channel.
So if they
yes.
want to see all your streams, then
You're right.
subscribe to Luna Oi.
If you want to see all of my stream, yes, the only channel is Luna Oi Live, youtube.com/Luna Oi Live.
You're so bad at self-promotion.
I'm so bad at it. That is why I'm not an expert in marketing. I'm not. I'm trying so hard to sell you a thing now, and I guess that I failed so hard. Can you give me the book on that bag, plastic bag on the right side, left side? I have an announcement for you right now that by I think next month, the book price will be a little bit more expensive.
Going up by $2.
About $2 because our printing company just changed the policy and they will have they charge us more for printing this, so we have to. It will be about $2 more.
So it's about a month to get it.
It's about it will happen in a month. So if you are thinking about buying a hard copy of this, please consider buying this within a month when the price still like normal. Or if you don't want hard copy, you can just go to banyanhouse.org and buy a ebook version or PDF version or HTML
or you get it for
something.
Free.
You get it for free. I mean,
always say buy, just say get. You can get it.
You can get it. banyanhouse.org. You can donate if you want, as based on the amount that you can afford, or you can just get it for free. Totally fine.
Put the link on the screen. There should be one set up.
Yes. Banyan House.
What?
You
need me to market her.
Yes.
You need me to market you.
Desperately.
Of course, you show them the link. No one knows how to spell Banyan.
The Good Morning already type it in. banyanhouse.org.
On screen.
I did.
I know. I just wanted to talk like Picard.
Okay. Pay what you want. Yeah, pay what you can. Hey Luna, good morning. When do you think the part 2 of the book translated will be out? I was trying to buy it from India, but it slaps me on my face with the $20 shipping charges. Yeah, I mean, book, the international shipping is very expensive.
Should be only 15.
It should have been 15. It should be 15.
Is it 15? It's 15, right?
They buy from India and it was like 20.
India?
India.
Oh, India. Did they go? Oh, make sure they went to banyanhouse.org/shop. I'll check the.
Yeah.
I thought the shipping was 15.
Right? I thought now it's a flat rate 15, but no. All right, check it out.
Ask them what site they looked at it, because every site has different
Yeah.
settings.
What site did you look at? Because to my knowledge right now, banyanhouse.org is $15 shipping flat rate.
If it was a different site, I need to know so I can fix it.
Yeah, exactly. About the question about the part 2 of the book, the part 2 will be out, I hope, within a year, from a year to a year and a half, because there are some reason for it to be faster than this first one. First of all, because it's shorter. This is a very, very long, because it includes a brief history of philosophies from ancient time to modern time. It includes dialectical materialism, and explain about materialist dialectics. And also 2/3 of the book is our annotation. The next part is historical materialism. It's gonna be short as a third of the book originally, but then I don't know. I'm not sure about the
And as short as a turd.
annotation. As short as a third of this book.
Turd means poop, so it's just funny.
Everything in English means something like poop or
Just turd and shit and crap and doo-doo.
yeah, and dung,
Yeah.
poo poo.
You don't have that many words for poop in Vietnamese?
We do.
Quick, say 5 words that mean poop in Vietnamese. Do it. This is what we call shit posting, folks.
I can't do that in front of my audience.
Oh my
no.
gosh, you can't say any words that say poop in Vietnamese?
Brasanta. I was
Why are
trying
you
to
so
buy
much
from your website.
Which website? There's 3 websites that it's on.
Banyan House or Luna Oil non-compete.
What's the URL? Is it banyanhouse.org, lunaoy.com, or non-compete.com? The reason I need to know is because each site has like different settings.
Yeah. It's TOS.
It's not TOS to say poop. Luna's got so much more propriety in Vietnamese than in English.
Dorian Sapiens. You were recently wondering what joining Communist Party of Vietnam involves. I mean, I can explain to you.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. That will exactly be the topic that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to show you some, examples of it. And yeah, it's going to be very different compared to the version you have in your mind. So stay tuned about that. Okay. Can I join the party? I am from another country. No, you can't. That's
Luna can't even join because she's
I
married to a
can't
foreigner.
even join because my partner is not Vietnamese citizen. It is very, very strict like that. So I will explain it to you in like 10 or 15 minutes. Let me finish about the book.
But wait, you can join a party that is affiliated with Vietnam Communist Party, and then they do, like if you join, for instance, CPUSA, what other communist? There's a communist. I think the Communist Party of India, Communist Party. I mean, there's every country basically has a Communist Party that has an affiliation with the Communist Party of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And then through that party, if you want, you can join like the international committee or whatever and be involved.
Yeah. All right, so back on, so in hopefully for the part 2 of this book, it's a historical materialism and will be out from 1 year and a half because it's shorter. I know exactly what to do. And hopefully the procedure will be way faster, clear like that. And yep, that is it. And about, the comrade who from India and the shipping fee is $20. I hope that you can check. We have a three websites. You can order it from maybe different website. The first one is banyanhouse.org. Second one is lunaoy.com, right? Right? DJ?
What?
lunaoy.com and non-compete.
The shipping is 20 on this?
No. I'm just telling them like all three of the websites so they can choose a site with the cheapest or like $15.
The point is they should all be $15, and if one of them is not, I will change it to 15.
Okay.
Because it's a mistake.
Yes. Non-compete.
That's
non-compete.com/shop. lunaoy.com. banyanhouse.org. All right. Jesus Louise. That's all.
Did you just say Jesus Louise?
Yes.
That's funny.
Oh, you're from PCB, Brazilian Communist Party. Hi there. Hi there. I'm just wondering how many of you in the audience right now are a member of Communist Party in your country? Would be very interesting to know about it. All right. Okay. I'm checking the chat right now. Okay, first of all, I'm asking how are you? Where are you living at? Because I heard that last week in the USA there were like several mass shooting, and there was we call it a mass shooting, but to your standard, to American standard, it is not a mass shooting because only 2 people got hurt or something like that. But like 2 Vietnamese people were hurt, like I don't know they died or not, but it is they got attacked by a mass shooter, and it was pretty awful. And I mean, and EJ told me that the cat I don't know, like a mass shooting must have 4 victims to be called a mass shooting, right?
There's different people that track it in different ways. Usually it's 3 or 4. But like, if it's less than 4, it probably won't make it on national news.
What kind of country that somebody just like hurt less than 4 people, it won't make it into national news? Like, what in the world is that?
If it's 3 white people, it'd probably be on national news.
Gosh, what kind of dystopian is that? Like,
or like 1 blonde white girl.
Gosh. There's a workers' party in Tunisia? Interesting. All right. Oh, Bill is a member of CPUSA. Hi. Yes, there is a Communist Party in Mexico. I just learned about it yesterday. Remember, EJ?
Yep.
To my knowledge, they pretty much not a good relationship with Communist Party of Vietnam. Like,
correct us if we're wrong. That's just what we heard.
Yeah, that's what we heard. We hope that we are wrong, but yeah. It's not like close relationship with the Communist Party of Vietnam.
A few communist parties are kind of ultra left.
Yeah, very, very, very hostile against like Vietnam, China, and Laos.
That doesn't mean we're discouraging you from.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we're discouraging you.
You should, if anything, you should go in there and try to change things. Maybe. I don't know. But we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
We just heard.
Yeah.
We just know what we heard.
Mexico has several communist parties. Factionalism, yeah, but they boycott elections. The election of the government. I need to learn more about this. I'm not gonna have any comment about this. I'm just like interested in learning. All right. The refusal of Republican Party to do anything about mass shooting is of their ways of waging war on the people. And even not just the Republican Party, the Democratic Party also didn't do nothing. Didn't do shit. Like, just look at Biden right now. Instead of dealing with all the domestic, like problem to deal with, they just like keep like exporting weapons and sending money outside of the country. I mean, it's BS. Yeah, all right. Several communist parties in Mexico don't participate in any elections. Oh, interesting. Okay, okay, good to know. I've been very depressed. The mass week of action stuff is lifting my spirit a bit, but otherwise, life pretty much just sucks on every level. I mean, I totally understand it now because I spent the last 6 months in the USA, and to be honest, I mean, just like wake up every morning and hearing the news about that police like brutality, and that person got like mass shot, and how is like the food price is getting higher and higher, gas price higher and higher, and I mean, just like the infrastructure not being renewed, rebuilt, fixed is really depressing. I mean, I totally understand it. That is why, like, we as communists, we need to have revolutionary optimism. And EJ has a video, very good video about it. Revolutionary optimism. Uh, um, it is not optimism as you know of. If you know about it as like the blind optimism, just believe like, oh, just pray and everything will be fine. Like, revolutionary optimism is totally opposite thing. Revolutionary optimism is when you as a communist, as a leftist, you know about the material condition, you know how life sucks, but then you still eager to learn, eager to help other people with the belief that we can change, we can make some change in this world. And because thanks to revolutionary optimism, that Vietnamese people in the past also you know overcome a lot of hardship because of that. And it is a thing that it is very important for all of us to keep our hope and trust in the power of the people, trust the leadership of the party, believe that one day we can end this misery and exploitation and we can liberate ourselves. That is it. And that is optimism that based on dialectical materialism, based on your very clear understanding of the misery and the terrible living conditions, material conditions and the society they're living in, but you never lose hope. You never lose trust on your own people. And it's very important like that. Oh, PSL. Yeah, PSL cool too. I joined several of their conference with their members. It's really cool people. Yeah. DSA too. I just had a meeting with the International Committee of DSA, and we talk about the Vietnam War and what would like the Vietnam vet think about the empire. I mean, I lost hope a long time ago. I understand, but not, you should not, be totally depressed about it, because it is a thing that Vietnamese people, we went through a lot of hardship in our life too, especially in the 30s, in the 20s and 30s and the 40s, where we were colonized by the French, we were massacred by the French, we were brainwashed, we were indoctrinated, and we were enslaved by French colonialists. And right after that, 1940s, we were occupied by fascist Japanese, where they took everything they could and they starved to death 10% of our population. And right after that, we had a communist revolution and we had our independence. French came back and wanted to colonize us one more time, and we spent the next 9 years fighting against them. At the same time, the USA jumped in, and after right around when the French were about to lose, the USA jumped in and they put a fascist dictatorship in the south of Vietnam, where he literally dragged the guillotine. I talk about this many times. He dragged the literal guillotine left by colonialist French. he dragged it all around the South and executed anybody without trial, anybody that he suspected to be communist. It was really horrible time in Vietnam at that time in the 60s, in the late 50s, in the 60s, and you literally could be executed right on street without trial if somehow the puppet regime police suspect that you are a communist. And yes, and we fought against the genocidal war of the USA that killed more than 3 million of our own people. And now we still have a 4 million victim of Agent Orange in Vietnam to this day. And every single year, there are still several thousand of Vietnamese children born with birth defect from Agent Orange. And why are you here?
I don't know why it automatically adds.
Remove.
Yes, remove.
Okay.
I just wanted to put a chat.
Yeah.
Link in the chat.
So in Vietnam, our forest was totally terribly destroyed because of Agent Orange and because of napalm. And yeah, I mean, we went through all of that. I mean, and after 1975, when we won against the USA, we immediately had to fight against Pol Pot, the communist regime in Cambodia, until 1989, because they kept like getting aided by the United Nations, by the USA, and by China. It was horrible, and at that time we were invaded by China in 1979 to 1989 because we dared to end the genocidal regime of communism. Because of that, we were comprehensively sanctioned by the USA until all the way to the 1990s, where we had to open our economy to persuade the USA to stop sanctioning us. And yeah, I mean, we've been through a lot too. And here's the EJ's video on revolutionary optimism that you should watch if you are in a bad chapter of your life and you are depressed and you lost your hope. It is a thing that you should consider, because yes, you are in a miserable living condition. We were in misery too, and we went through it, and I hope that you can also overcome it, because it is very important. It's very important. It's vital for all of us to get together, to strengthening ourselves, and yeah, organize. Very important. All right. So let's about 9:30 already. Let's talk about the main topic today. What does it mean to be a Communist Party member in Vietnam? So it is a thing that, EJ, I want to ask you, because I don't know about this. So before you learn about, Vietnam, the Communist Party of Vietnam or something, what did you think when somebody talk about party membership in the Communist Party of Vietnam? What, you and like an average American think about that?
I mean, I can tell you what average Americans thought about it. Probably. I mean, the idea is that, well, it ties in with what we were talking about on Breadcast a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
if y'all didn't watch Breadcast a couple days ago, Luna did a breakdown of propaganda techniques that anti-communists use against Vietnam.
Yeah.
And one of the techniques is working with assumptions that Westerners have been indoctrinated to have about places like Vietnam. And one of the things that Sen Nguyen, an anti-communist propagandist, just used recently is the assumption that members of communist parties have like power and privilege over the rest of the population. And you're like, if you're a member of the party, you're an elite. This has been used against Luna, by the way, because a lot of people have lied and said that Luna is a member of the Communist Party to imply that she has no agency, and she has no, and she simultaneously has no agency because she's taking orders from the Communist Party and also has like elite power in society as a member of the Communist Party.
They don't even know their own law. Those Vietnamese who strive that I can't be a party member because you're not a Vietnamese citizen.
Right, you can't be married yet. But anyway, so the point is, I think most people in the West are taught that Communist Party members are all basically powerful, elite, corrupt, and also brainwashed and have to do whatever they're told. That's kind of like the standard doctrinal understanding of being a member of the Communist Party in a place like Vietnam.
Okay. Very interesting, very funny, and it's totally wrong, but it's very funny. So here's the thing. I'll give you some basic understanding of Communist Party of Vietnam. Communist Party of Vietnam was formed in 1930, and nowadays it has around 5.3 million members. It means that one in every Communist Party member is a scary word for Americans. All right, okay. Communist Party of Vietnam now, they have about 5.3 million members, and the Vietnam population is 100 million. So it means that one in every 20 Vietnamese is a party member, Communist Party member. So it is a very common thing like that. And it being a member of the Communist Party, it doesn't mean that you have any power over other people, because one of every 20 Vietnamese is a party member. So it doesn't mean that much. I mean, like, it doesn't mean that they have a privilege over normal people or anything like that. It just means that they are more like, like in line and want to like advocate themselves to the cause of the Vietnamese people, the communism, and that is it. And at the same time, two Vietnamese people, this is the truth about how, other Vietnamese will think about party member. It means that, like, it is really hard to, it is really hard to get into the Communist Party. And it's really hard to stay as a member of the Communist Party, because you at any time can get kicked out because you did something wrong. So for example, this is like, I did a lot of research about this. In order to join a party member in Vietnam, so like in the West, right, especially like to say like in the USA right now, if you want to join the CPUSA, you join the CPUSA and then you receive the education in the party once you become a party member, all right? That's what you expect, right? But in Vietnam, it's opposite. You must have education, you must study, you must pass the exam so you can prove that you are knowledgeable enough to join the Communist Party. So the procedure of a person to join the Communist Party is like they live in a local area, and they go and they talk to the local Communist Party in their area, and then they start like joining a class. If there are any Marxism class available, they studied it, and at the same time they join to work with the community, work with the people to understand and to have experience organizing and talking to the people. It was gonna take them a few years to learn all that, new of that, and then after that, when they are confident enough, they will join a test, an exam, and if they pass the exam, Marxism, Leninism, and the communist history of the Communist Party of Vietnam, they pass that, and okay, they will receive 1 year probation. It means that in that 1 year, the local group of the Communist Party of Vietnam, the CPV, will send what do you call it, a tutor or a supervisor or a comrade that already the party member and active in that local area to tutor you and guide you the way and lead you the way. And the time it will take is 1 year for you to persuade your local people and your tutor that you deserve this membership. And after that, you can be officially recruited as a Communist Party member. But once you become a member, that is everything already started, because you need to very actively, you need to organize in your local group, help the people, work with the government, and really have a good performance. Because every year, it depends on at least every 2.5 years, there's gonna be a performance, what we call in Vietnamese called performance meeting in your local group, where people would gather together, or the performance reviews. Yes, performance review. The local group, we gather together and we talk and discuss about the performance of every single party member in that local group in the last year, in the last term, or something like that. And they will vote to see if you should stay as a member, or should you be warned, or should you be kicked out because of you had bad performance, you're corrupted, and you work with like capitalists to exploit the people. So it's like constant like that. It's freaking constant, like you have to pass constant like performance review like that. So it is a normal thing in Vietnam to see the Communist Party member kick that person out because of bad performance, because of corruption, a lot of that stuff. And you also can be kicked out if you cheat on your wife or your husband, because according to the law of Vietnam, the family policies are one wife and one husband. So especially so I mean, like, it's protected by the law. So if you like have a I mean, you're being corrupted and something like that, you could be kicked out like that too. So it's like it is really hard to stay as a Communist Party member, and you have to prove that you have to prove that you deserve that membership, and you have a even like a good of a person to be a member like that. So you guys have professional politicians that do politics as a full-time job? I mean, yes and no. So for example, in the local areas, local level, politics, yes, there are people who work for the government as full-time jobs, and they receive allowance every month from the government for working full-time like that. And yes, but there are also people who like just like a farmer.
I think people might be confused because they don't understand the distinction between the Communist Party and the government. Nobody gets paid to be in the Communist Party.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. I need to make this clear. All right. I want to make this clear. You do not need to be in a Communist Party to run for government in Vietnam. All right. So that is why when I said that people who work for the government, it doesn't mean that all of them are Communist Party members. It's just normal people who run for office. That is it. All right. And that is why like people who they are not get paid for joining the Communist Party for sure. Of that, like, is obviously no. They only got some allowance if they work. Any other people, work for the government, something like that. They get allowance from the government for working to support the people like that. To have the people
as a government employee.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, right? The government employee everywhere.
Well, you have to be very, very clear because everyone's gonna. People don't know. One, they think that.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I hope that you don't get my twisting my word wrong, something like that, because gosh, do I have to be more clear about this, EJ? I thought I was very clear about that.
You have to understand the assumptions that people make about this. They think that the most. I mean, this is a lot of people think that the Communist Party is the government, or that they, again, like I said, there's like all this thought of people just don't understand at all. You have to talk like they're. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you.
I am very annoyed with the amount of uneducation. It's a lot. All right, of the average Westerners.
Linda, it's your.
All right. So I know I'm not mad at you at all. I know that you are being sarcastic right here. All right, totally fine. I'm just saying, I know that there are many times that people just attack Vietnam because they not know about us well, and instead of asking, they just assume things and they just consume the amount of propaganda, and they just thought it was true, and they attack Vietnam and me instead. It's very annoying, but it doesn't mean that I totally understand that you are being sarcastic. So So the party membership means I just gave you a long answer about what the party membership in the Communist Party of Vietnam means. So in the short version of it is like it doesn't mean anything. I mean, in a sense, like usually U.S. Americans or Westerners think about it. They think the party membership is something very powerful, a privilege, and only like rich people or corrupt people can have. The party membership in the Communist Party of Vietnam, it just means that you are, like you are, what do you call it? You advocate yourself to serve the people and to help the people. It means that you will lose more than you gain, because you have to spend a lot of time and effort in educating yourself, organizing people, and help the community, and prove that you deserve this membership. And it's very easy for you to be kicked out of the party because you had bad performance, you're corrupted, and you work with corrupted people or something like that. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you get into the party member is very easy, or you become a party member and then you stay there forever and you have a privilege over other people. It's totally wrong. It's the opposite in Vietnam. That is like it is hard to be a party member. It is even harder to stay as a party member, and it means that you have to, prove that you're worthy of this position. So it means that. And also, like, it doesn't mean that you must be like rich or anything to be a party member, because like one of every 20 Vietnamese people are a party member, and that's it. And also at the same time, being a member of the Communist Party of Vietnam doesn't mean that you get paid. No. And it doesn't mean that you automatically work for the government and get paid. No. Because you do not need to be a party member to run for the government in Vietnam, both in local level and national level. As I said very clearly in my video when I explained about the elections in Vietnam and how does it work. You do not need to be a party member to run for the office in Vietnam. And the fact is, there are a lot and lots of people who are not party members in Vietnam work for the government.
There are more independent members of the National Assembly than there are in Congress in the USA.
There are more independent government workers in the national representative. There's more non-party representatives in the National Assembly in Vietnam than the party or outside of the two parties in the National Congress of the USA. It's a fact like that. So I mean, I don't know why people in the West, your indoctrination and the propaganda is so strong. You usually equate party membership to be powerful, and automatically every single representative of the National Assembly of Vietnam is party member. But it's not. Actually, we have 7 times higher non-party members in the National Assembly than the non-party or the third party representatives in the National Congress House of the USA. Yeah, you're right, Bill. It is like to restate what Luna said, you have a probationary period when you become a member, there are performance reviews. Yeah. All right, and I wish now let's talk about this, because it is going on right now. I did mention about the performance review, and we are doing a performance review right now in our national level. And let me show you this. All right. So here's the newest, one of the newest the what do you call it, performance review going on in the National Assembly of Vietnam right now, and it happened from like March to May this year. And yeah, it is like it is translated from a Vietnamese article coming from the official government website of Vietnam, talking about, you know, how the midterm conference of the 13 party central committee having a performance review, and many of the members of the Communist Party of Vietnam and at the same time work for the National Assembly, they are now being kicked out of the party because of bad performance going back from 2010. That is how, you know, intense it is. And I mean that it means that if you did something bad even 10 years ago, it doesn't mean that you're like safe from it forever. No, we will do the review and we will make you be responsible for what you did even like 10 and 15 years ago. So do not think that you can get away with your crime once, you know, you are a party member. All right. So this is Comrade Nguyễn Phú Cường resigned from the position of member of the party central committee. So it happened from March, you know, 2023, about in Dong Nai province is in the south of Vietnam, and they had very terrible you know that like in Vietnam, you know, the real estate bubble. Those people in Dong Nai province in the south of Vietnam, they work with capitalists in there, and they sold the land. They sold the land that belonged to, you know, the public land. They sold public land to private capitalists with cheap price, and they took a lot of, you know, under table money for that. And it happened from 2010 all the way to 2020. And now today, we had, you know, performance review, and we, you know, vote and we discuss and we vote about the people who were involved in that, directly involved in that kind of crime, kind of corruption. And it's a long list of people who were warned or who were kicked out of the party because of the bad performance that they did in 2010 even. So it was like very serious stuff like that. And it's a list of the people who got, you know, warned and kicked out. You know, so like these people like got like warned by the party that if they do it again, they would severely punished by like kicking out the party or something. But these people and their position, like all high people, vice chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, and like all people like that, the former vice chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, being warned by that. And it means that it's gonna be very hard for them to first maintain their position, and mostly impossible for them to get higher in their position, because they must prove again they already lost the trust of the people and of the party and of the government. That is why they will have to prove themselves again if they ever want to be promoted to a higher level. Or this like that is done for them. These people who are like being warned that it is a very kind of strong discipline already. But these people, I would even like the strongest, they receive the highest punishment, which is to be excluded from the party. And these are like the former secretary of the party committee, former chairman of the board of directors, former general director of Tín Nghĩa Corporation, blah blah blah. And then these are like former secretary of the party self. Like these are people who forever excluded from the party, and they will have to face the court very soon, because it is if so, for example, if a member of the government or a member of the Communist Party of Vietnam that got into a high position and they were corrupted, and they found out that they, you know, they did bad performance, they worked with illegally with capitalists to take the people's money. First, the Communist Party would have a meeting to do the performance review and for people to vote for the way how to punish them. And after, the vote is decided and this person got kicked out, this person got warned and something like that, then continue that the public security department will go in there and investigate to bring them in front of the court, to make them, be responsible for what they did. It was like very strong like that. So that is a procedure in Vietnam that like whenever we heard a news that the Communist Party of Vietnam warned this high-ranking members, Communist Party of Vietnam kicked this person out of the party, and then the government, National Assembly got together and vote to kick that person out of their position working for the government. Now, we know that after that, those people will be investigated, sent to jail for the crimes that they did. It is like, being kicked out of the government and also being kicked out of the Communist Party is just the first step. So yeah, and to continue about that, I mean, it just happened 2 days ago. 2 months later, the performance review continued, and there are a few more people who got officially kicked out of the party or high-ranking member. Last time in March, it was in Dong Nai province. Now it's Lao Cai province, right? And three people, like high-ranking, super high-ranking member of the Communist Party of Vietnam got kicked out. And we know for a fact that after this, they will be investigated and they will pay for what they did.
You sound so hardcore.
I mean, yes.
They will pay for what they did.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing. We know that the Communist Party of Vietnam know that it's not perfect. It has corrupted members. Corruption is a big problem over there. But the point is that like we are trying so hard, very, very hard to get rid of that corruption. So it's totally kind of different, what do you call it? Way of working, the working style, like in the USA, where you claim that, it's really funny to me seeing the two parties of in the USA, Republican Party and the Democratic Party, keep, blaming each other being corrupted. It's like, oh, it's not us that corrupted, it's the Democratic Party that corrupted. It's not us, it's the Republican Party that corrupted. Like, don't you see that both of you are corrupted as fuck? And
that's
also,
a good point. That's a really good point. It is.
What?
I never thought about that before. Sorry, I'm coming to the microphone. I never thought about that before, but that's a really good point, because in the USA, the parties completely deny corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, oh, it's not us, the Democrats, that are corrupt, it's the Republicans. We're not corrupt. We're all perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We're the good party. Whereas in Vietnam, they constantly say, we have corruption in the Communist Party and we need to do something about it.
See, it's bad because we have a corruption.
But the funny thing is, Western people look at that and then they're like, look, see, the Communist Party's corrupt. Unlike my Democrat Party, which
never
says it's not corrupt. It's like admitting that there's corruption in the party is seen as a bad thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Colin said nice
Colin
arm.
likes my arm. Oh, I thank you.
From now on, if you speak, you should do that.
Yeah, people just think that I'm a hand puppet.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, in the USA, you have a two-party, two sides of the same coin to blame each other, and it's really ridiculous that it is the Democratic Party that is corrupt, not my party. Like, no, both of you corrupted as fuck.
It's pivotal for what we call the duo party, the capitalist duo party.
Mm-hmm.
The duo party exists.
It's lobbying.
The Republicans and the Democrats both exist to serve the interests of the capitalist class, and a lot of the conflict between the Republican and the Democratic Party is, controlled opposition. And it's also, a lot of the times used to divide the workers. It's why everything becomes politicized in the USA. It's why COVID became politicized in the USA. like wearing a fucking mask became like a political issue.
Exactly.
That was used to polarize people, polarize workers. You know, nobody cares about the actual science or what's better for the people. They just want to serve the interests of the ruling class. That's all there is to
it. Both parties know they are full of shit. They just shift blame for the sake of hoping to win votes. They want to destroy each other, but put up with each other to give a false illusion of power to the people and make them believe voting will truly change things in their favor, and to divide the workers over bullshit. I mean, yeah. It is just a tool. You know, the dual party system, just a tool for them to distract you from, knowing, the core issues of your problem.
That's right, Luna.
The new puppet.
Hi, everybody. I'm Middlebury, the newest puppet for Breadville, the series that Luna and EJ work on over at youtube.com/Breadville.
You are the first people, 109 people watching right now. You are the first to know about this brand new puppet.
I'll be coming out soon.
An unofficial launch of
Excuse me
Middlebury.
when I was talking.
Sorry.
No, I forgive you.
All right.
I will be debuting soon in a video at youtube.com/Breadville. That's BREADVILLE. Now back to your regularly scheduled.
Niam call you Braddington.
Breadville, not Breddington. Not Breadtown. Not Breddington. Not Breadsville. It's Breadville.
All right.
Get it right or pay the price.
All right. That's it. Thank you so much. No, this is a sexual harassment. I want to file a report.
Well, I'm the middle manager, so you'll have to file it with me.
That is BS.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right.
Nope. No, my name's not Breadville. That's the name of the channel. My name is Middlebury, the middle manager. Luna, put the link up, Breadville, youtube.com/Breadville. You can already watch great videos featuring the works of Luna as a puppeteer.
Like this?
Yeah, way to hunt and pet type. Why don't you learn touch typing, Luna?
That is why I do not like middle managers.
It would be a lot more efficient if you could learn to touch type.
They're super annoying and nosy.
What are you doing right now? This doesn't seem very productive.
Yeah, Middlebury.
There's no space in my name.
No space. All right. 8 people dropped watching after we unofficially launched this new puppet. So
that's because you're not.
What did you do, Middlebury?
You're not being very fun and engaging.
All right. Okay, 2 more people tuning in right now. All right. Welcome to new people.
Welcome to the show.
All right. So this is our unofficial launch of this brand new puppet. What is your pronouns again, Middlebury?
You can use he, him.
Okay, he, him. All right. This is the Middlebury, new middle manager, work for Frank in Bradville. All right.
You're not being very productive right now.
I'm sorry. I'm back to work right now. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, everybody, if you have any questions, you can, put in the chat and I will try to answer them all. He about to ask not to work on Saturday. Are you?
Well, listen, it would really help the team if you could come in on Saturday. I know you got that thing with your family, but we're really getting close to this deadline.
Am I gonna get paid? Working on weekend at least double according to the law.
Well, we were just hoping that you might just do it for the family, the corporate family.
It's not my family.
We're a family here, Luna.
What kind of family that exploit its members?
We don't exploit you. It's you voluntarily exchange your labor for money.
Oh gosh, I hate capitalism.
It's a voluntary relationship.
Since it's a voluntary relationship, I am gonna be busy this Saturday.
Well, okay,
Sorry.
that's fine, but I'm just saying that promotion that you've been bucking for, we might have to give it to someone who's more of a team player, Luna.
Whatever.
Why are you all watching this right now when you couldn't be more productive? Watching this stream is not very productive.
Out of my room. All right, guys. Middlebury.
This is going on your performance report.
All right. How many of you have encounter same kind of middle managers like this? It's so real. Okay, I should be editing. Well,
It's Kai.
Kai. Sorry, did I say Kai? I did say Kai.
Hey.
Damn it, I'm sorry. To be frank, I'm pretty sure most American families have been infected with capitalist values in a really unhealthy way. Yes. Competition. You even encourage competition between kids. Like, what in the world is that? Bad. It is bad, all right? Okay, there's one. All right, the True Game 66, the True Gamer, as I noticed, actually this country has a big value during their time, like Romania and Yugoslavia and Soviet Gorbachev and Afghanistan. I would say Sino-Vietnam War. I mean the Sino-Soviet split. Yeah. What would you say Vietnam's biggest mistake? All right. I think that the biggest mistake that Vietnam did, I think, as the government of Vietnam was, in the 90s and early 2000 when we were, new to the reforms and we, opened our border so we can, borrow money from IMF. Actually, it's a lot about the reason why we had to do it. Long story short, we had to do it so we can persuade the USA from stop sanctioning us so we can feed our own people. And around at that same time, our Communist Party of Vietnam and the government of Vietnam, we were lost to neoliberal faction and we were controlled by neoliberals at that time. The government of Vietnam in the early 2000, from 2000 to 2015 and 16 was a super neoliberal and they were extremely very corrupted. That Vietnam, to this day, 2023, we are still, investigating and kicking them out of the government because they have a very, very deep root in the government of Vietnam and in the Communist Party of Vietnam too, and we are kicking them out. Sorry, that was why I just told you about the performance reviews, the article that I just read about it like 10 minutes ago. And I just talk about in Dong Nai province, those people, they sold public land to private capitalists with cheap price and they took a bunch of money out of it. And it happened from 2010. It was right when Vietnam was still controlled and ran by a neoliberal government, extremely corrupted. So we are still fixing.
I don't want people to. There was a faction.
It was a faction.
There was a neoliberal faction that had too much power. It wasn't like, I don't know. Don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it is a terrible outcome that we are dealing with, today, kicking them out. And that was one of the reasons why we had, real estate bubble to today. It's because of that. And I mean, we are very, very happy that the government of Vietnam and the Communist Party of Vietnam today, they are dealing with that corrupted faction and they are kicking them out and force them to pay for what they did. And vote for new members hopefully will not be as corrupted or not be corrupted, and what we can do is to watch what they're doing and have a trust in the party, because like it is true that in the 2010s the trust of the party and the trust of the government was lower compared to the other periods because of the corruption that we had to deal with. All right, I'm checking the chat right now. So back about the compare the difference between the government, the political system in Vietnam and the political system in the USA. Yeah, the party system. Like in Vietnam, yes, we are a single party system, means that we officially already recognize the Communist Party of Vietnam, but also lots of people conveniently forget that we don't need to be a party member to run for office in Vietnam. And the fact that you have a 7 times more of a non-party member in our National Assembly than a third party member in the National Congress of the USA, it says a lot. And to be honest, in fact, because we have a one-party system, it means that it feels like there's no party system. Because in the National Assembly of Vietnam, of 500 representatives, once you are voted to be a representative of the National Assembly of Vietnam, nobody cares about what are you in a party or not. No, nobody cares. This is why nobody talks about what party you're in. So, for example, in the USA, this happened, and I think that it's very disgusting, and they should never run a country this way. But in the National Congress meeting in the USA with a 2-party and 1 or 2 third-party members, whenever a problem was raised and solution was introduced and people vote to choose the best solution, right? Many times, the members of the National Congress in the USA vote to choose that solution because their party chooses the solution, not because they really think that solution is good or it will work, or like they just vote based on their party line. Now that is not good. That is not how you should run a country. Meanwhile, in Vietnam, once you are in the National Assembly, nobody cares about if you are a party or if you are not, because you are in this National Assembly. And when a problem was raised and solutions were introduced and people vote on that solutions, they vote based on what they actually believe, not because, oh, the party want me to vote for this. No, it's not like that at all. So, for example, like two representatives can agree with each other on this solution for this problem, but on the different solution for the different problem, they disagree with each other. So it's fine like that. But in the USA, it's different because they vote based on the party line, and if you vote against the party line, I don't know what's going to happen, but the party is not going to be happy about that. 7 times more non-communist, too much dangerous. Yeah. Yeah, from what I've heard, most of these countries, the fact that it's a one-party system in practice means it's similar to having no parties at all. Yeah. And also at the same time, because 1 of every 20 Vietnamese people is a party member, so it's just like statistically, it's gonna be higher chance of a Communist Party member to be voted by the voters in Vietnam. Because first of all, there are many of them. Second of all, they usually are people who very dedicated for the community and work with the community, so they gain more trust from the community. It's just that. All right. But again, you don't need to be a party member to run for the office in Vietnam, both in local and national level. Again, thank you so much for your super chat, Jason. Yeah, about seven times more. I would try to Google third party members in US Congress. Let's see how many. How many? Let's see. There are only 3 US senators, Angus King, Bernie Sanders, and Kristen Sinema, who are neither Democratic nor Republican. Only 3. Wow. And Bernie Sanders is so old already. Holy smokes. Last time I checked, it was 14 in Vietnam. Let's see this year how many. Bao nhiêu? $499 total. Why is it so hard to find non-party member? Last time I checked, it was like 14 or 18 or something like that. I'll update that, but like according to the last time I did the research was last year, it was about 14 to 18 members who are non-party members. Vietnam seems like it's a really nice place nowadays. I just feel weird having uncles who were sent there. I think people compare Vietnam to Koreans too much, not gonna lie. Yes, it is true that the USA did want Vietnam to be like Korea in the 50s. That was why in the 1950s to 1954, they put a puppet dictator in the south of Vietnam against the will of Vietnamese people without any election. And they separate Vietnam into north and south, and they put a puppet regime there against our will. And they use the soft power, their propaganda, and the indoctrination money to make you believe that the North and the South Vietnam are 2 different countries, just like North and South Korea. But it was never 2 different countries. Vietnam was always one country, and the puppet regime in the South Vietnam was put against our own will, and nobody voted for them. It was just an excuse for the USA to invade Vietnam later, just like how they did in Korea. And they did want Vietnam to become a second Korea. So the USA really wanted to keep the South of Vietnam, just like they kept South Korea. And they just failed, and we successfully unite each other and kick out the US puppet regime and kick out the US invaders. And and nowadays it is very annoying too, but people who especially in the West still compare like Vietnam to Korea, and they said like Vietnam, like USA should have kept the South of Vietnam. Like the fact is they couldn't because they lost. But anyway, and they said oh, Vietnam should have a state separated, and the South should be under US occupation, and North like blah blah blah. I mean, it is really disgusting to hear that, because it is our decision. This is our desire. This is the Vietnamese people who rose up and reunite and liberate ourselves, because we, both North and South of Vietnam, did not want to be under US occupation. All right, and I talk about this a lot already. But yeah, it was our whole country's, like determination to reunify with each other. And the USA has no say in here, and they lost. And of course, there are people who are still very sour about this, especially Vietnamese anti-communists. I call it like 3 stripes, because they support the puppet regime, the fascist puppet regime. It's the yellow flag with 3 red stripes, all right? And this is totally a fascist puppet regime, but they supported the fascist puppet regime, and they still, sour about their loss, and they like go around and spread lies and misinformation about it. But long story short, I debunked this many times already. Long story short, the main force of the national liberation of Vietnam is Southerners, not at the North. So usually there's a narrative flowing around in the West for decades, is that like the North of Vietnam somehow quote invade the South against the will of Southerner and blah blah blah. It was totally wrong. The main force of the National Liberation Front of Vietnam, the Communist, the Viet Cong, was Southerners living in the south of Vietnam, because at that time they were heavily attacked and murdered and tortured by the U.S. troops and the ARV and the puppet army.
Hey, Luna,
Yes.
I found the answer to that question. It's been a while.
Oh.
So currently there are 14 independent members of the National Assembly in Vietnam, which is about 3%. There are 2 independent senators out of 100, and there, from what I can tell, 0 independent members of Congress right now. There's 216 Democrats, 213. No, wait. Currently, 213 Democrats, 222 Republicans, and that's it. 435 total. So the independent people got kicked out, or they didn't.
Jeez Louise, so my information was old.
0%.
0%.
Of the U.S. Congress, of the U.S. House of Representatives, are independent right now.
Wow. Talking about dictatorship, talking about authoritarian. You have none whatsoever third party members in the Representative House in the USA.
2 independent senators, apparently.
Wow. Great system. Superior system, the dual party system.
14 independent members of the National Assembly of Vietnam.
Yes, 14 in Vietnam. So we are infinitely better. It doesn't mean that we are perfect, right? And then we just like, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's not like I don't know. People, if you had more independent members, then people would say you're not really communist. And then if you have less independent members, then people say the Communist Party is authoritarian and everyone has to be in the Communist Party. It's like, can't win.
Can't win with these people. Jason, thank you so much for another super chat. U.S. government is BS. Bernie would be effective if not blocked on cinema vote as a Republican and such. And I mean, Bernie Sanders was never meant to win because the system did not allow him to win. So as much as you think that somehow your system still function, you still have some trust in the system over there, Bernie Sanders is the biggest example of why the system doesn't work. Because he had a lot of support and they make you think that he might win, but he lost.
Well, it's because the Democrat Party just completely sabotaged him, and
because they didn't want, because the system didn't want him to win.
Yeah, in 2016.
I mean, totally against your own will. All right, he got a lot of support from a lot of people, but he couldn't win, and the system know that he got a lot of support from the people. That's why they like intentionally sabotage him, so to make him lose.
And he's not even that radical.
He's not even that fucking radical. Oh, give me a fucking break.
Compromise. You know?
He's not even a great of a candidate, to be honest. Right?
I mean, he's not a communist.
Yeah. Did Vietnam have a serious threat of counter-revolution? It seems like all of the Socialist countries had serious issues with counter-revolution in the 80s and 90s. Of course, Vietnam faces counter-revolution threat nearly every single day in our life. And that is why we've been fighting so hard against a thing called color revolution. It is a serious threat coming from outside of Vietnam against Vietnamese people. So I had several videos talk about this, but just in case you not know about this well yet, because I know it's a new thing in if you're new to my channel. But I mean, counter revolution is counter revolution that got imposed on the people of Vietnam by and it was used by what do you call it, the outside forces. And what they do was that they would take advantage of a grievance of Vietnamese people. Yes, of course,
the truckers.
Yeah, for example, in 2017 and 18, at that time, the government of Vietnam, what they did was that they built a bunch of highway, and they assigned companies, road construction company to build those roads, right? And at that time, those companies, they built a lot of, what do you call it, take the fee, the tolls. They put a lot of tolls on those newly built highway, and it costs the grievance, Vietnamese, especially the truckers, they didn't want it because before that it was totally free for them to drive on the road. Why do they have to pay money to drive on this new highway? And there was grievance and a lot of pushback from the Vietnamese way, especially truckers at that time. Now that is a true real problem of happened in Vietnam, and I didn't like it too. But immediately around that time, there was a group of Vietnamese anti-communists with the leader was Phạm Đoan Trang. That maybe sometimes you might heard about her names already. She was praised as freedom fighters, and she was given a lot of prizes coming from the Human Rights Watch, or even a lot of NGOs all around the world, US, UK, something like that. But her name was Phạm Đoan Trang. She came as the leader of that group, and she led those truckers in Vietnam to have a freedom convoy. Happened in.
So the important thing is she came up with the whole idea.
Yes, exactly. I was about to explain that.
Yeah.
What she did was that she led and she wrote a whole handbook instruction for thousands of truckers in Vietnam to start their own protest, to start their own freedom convoy in Vietnam in 2018 all the way to 19. It was horrible. It caused a lot of destruction in Vietnam because thousands of the truckers just blocked the road to stop people from going in and out of the and there were many victims of them, like ambulance. They even blocked ambulance. So many people died on the road, on the street, on the ambulance because they couldn't go to the hospital in time because of those truckers blocked the road. It was horror. It caused a lot of destruction to Vietnam until 2018 to 2019. And because Phạm Đoan Trang, she was a journalist, quote unquote, and she was also the leader of that freedom convoy, a bunch of protests, and caused several deaths of innocent people. And she wrote manual to teach how freedom convoy to start in Vietnam. And I believe that she was the one who first tested the freedom convoy that later happened in Canada and in the USA.
Yeah, she was, and then they used that as the template for the freedom convoy during the COVID.
Exactly, and she was the first to do that, and she practiced it in Vietnam. That was why in 2021 and 22, she was arrested and she was sent to jail for 9 years because of what she did. But when the news in the West, they report about her, they never report about how she led the freedom convoy in Vietnam. She caused several deaths of innocent people and lots of destruction in Vietnam. She started a pretty much semi-successful counter revolution in Vietnam. But in the West, when she was praised by VOA, Voice of America, which were praised by Human Rights Watch and the government of the UK and Australia, they always just called her a freedom fighter, a journalist who they had to speak the truth about the authoritarian government of Vietnam. And then that is why Even to this day, a lot of people still like send me the link of Human Rights Watch about, oh, Phạm Loan Trang, she was totally innocent and she was sent to jail just because she spoke against the government of Vietnam. This is very bad. Can you explain this? Like, they never know about what the crime that she did and how much of destruction that she did. And we found out that she received a lot of money from many organizations and terrorist groups outside of Vietnam. The point is to sabotage Vietnam. You don't know about it. And even when I told them about it, they don't believe in me because all they trust is their propaganda coming from their master's mouth. It is sad. Just to clarify, thank you so much, Jason. Another super chat. Just to clarify, I do not have a confidence in American capitalism. Bernie as far to the left as might have won by Hillary Clinton, and some super delegate BS blocked him. I mean, yep. Just the fact that you have a super delegate is BS. Oh, Nairobi, bye. Bye. Oh, this is your first time here? Great stream. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, if you have any other question, you can just tell me. I can try to answer them all. Luna, what's the point of a political party in general? It is the same everywhere, or it varies from country to country. Now, here's the thing. The point of being a communist is to have a stateless and classless society. It means that our real dream is to build a society where there is no class, no government, no state, no party. Because the point is to liberate humanity. From each according to your ability to each according to your need. But the whole point of having a party right now, first of all, it is just a temporary thing. And we will eliminate it in the future when we can defeat fascism and capitalism, and we can have a classless society, stateless society. For now, the point of having a party is to educate people, to have people who share the same vision have a safe place to practice, to learn, and to help each other, to organize people, to form into a powerful organization to defeat fascism and capitalism. That is it. That is the whole point of having a party right now, to organize people. Yeah, I mean, it is important to be in a party member now, especially so you can organize with each other, learn from each other. Yes, and also I need to have this, like, the whole point, the main point of having a party, communist party, to joining a party, is to have a fucking revolution. That is very important, to gather together, to organize together, to have a revolution, to make some change to end capitalism and fascism. Yeah, so that is why it is very essential for you to build a strong and powerful party of the people, of the working class. How are National Assembly members elected? I have a whole video talking about it. You can check it out. Go to my channel and type how elections work in Vietnam. I talk about all of that. But long story short, there are two levels of elections in Vietnam: the local level and the national level. And I did vote in 2021. And yes, when I go vote, and there are candidates who would run for the local level and candidates run for the national level, and they will have, like, you have a meeting with the voters, and the voters will question them, and they will try to answer all the questions for the voters, and try to persuade voters to vote for them. So there is no, by the way, there is no debate in Vietnam like in the West at all. No, what we do is that, like, the candidate seat in a meeting hall, meeting the voters, and the candidates will introduce themselves and why you want to be voted, and if they got voted, what would they do. And then the voters sit and listen to that, and if they have any question, they are free to stand up and question the candidate that they want to question. And yes, and after like a few months running like that, we would go to election day, we would vote for, like, so it's, for example, we have what I did is like we have a list of 5 candidates that I wanted to vote for, right? Five candidates in a local level, and 3 people would be chosen, and what I did was I swiped the name of the 2 people that I did not want to be in the local area, in the local government, something like that. So like, yeah. And of course, saying in the vote, I mean, there is no sign whatsoever saying that this person is a party member or not. Just like it's irrelevant, because you do not need to be party member to run for the government. So like, it's just giving the name of those candidates, and you swipe out the names that you do not want. So I swipe up 2 out of 5 names that I did not want to vote for them. And it turned out that the fact that yes, I mean, all the 3 people that I voted for, they all won, and they work for the local government. And another vote is for the national representative. It's the same thing. I wipe out the name that I didn't want to, and I keep like, well, in Da Nang, it was like 3 candidates at that time, based on the population in that province, and you can vote how many candidates. I remember, I could be wrong, but I remember it's 2021, so 2 years ago. So like Da Nang could have like 3 national representatives in the National Assembly of Vietnam. So yeah, based on the population. So I voted for 3 out of, I think, 5 or 6 candidates too. So yeah, it's like that. We vote directly for the local level and the National Assembly representatives. And then about to vote like president or prime minister or important position in the government, the national representatives would do that in the National Assembly. It's like parliament system going on in the like Europe right now. Why it is so dark? Because we are in a hotel room and they don't have a good light at all. I had to turn all of them off because like the lights flickering and it would cause you headache. I had to turn all of them off and use my ring light. That is why it's dark in the background. If only US communists did not constantly fight amongst themselves over theory and purism. Yeah, I wish same thing too. Oh, thank you, John T, for your super stickers. Oh, thank you so much. Voting for someone who ends up getting elected sounds like such a fever dream. I mean, all 3 of my candidates, that I voted for, they all won. Can you talk about the importance of international cooperation of Communist Party, especially smaller parties that do not yet hold power? It is very important, yes, because like communists, we are also internationalists, and it means that we fight for the cause of the whole, global revolution, not just for our people and for our own nation only. No, we are all internationalists. It means that we want to liberate just not our own people, but also other peoples, all the working class, entire working class in the world too. So it is very important for, a communist party to form, to have, influence in your society, and then to try to connect to other parties that already existing in the world is very important, because I mean the solidarity is very important. And then like you can educate people, and make people trust you more because you have proof that like you are serious with this cause and you want to advocate for the world revolution. It's like it would help you gain the trust from the people. Because what kind of party if like it just only like isolated themselves and do not make friends with other parties? Like, no, I would not trust a party. It is very important like that. And yes, nobody is free until everyone is free. This is why the Communist Party of Vietnam also is trying very, very hard to have a connection with like more and more parties outside of the country, such as like we have a strong connection with, of course, Communist Party of Cuba and China and Laos and North Korea, and also the Communist Party of the USA, Communist Party of many other countries in the West too, and Venezuela or something like that. It's important to maintain the connection to show solidarity. And if they need any help, our comrades need any help, we can send like materials to educate our comrades to join a conference or meeting together to talk, to show like we acknowledge each other and we support each other, solidarity. Yeah, it's essential thing. It's essential thing for communists to be internationalists and to join. And especially if you're like if you don't have any communist party in your own society, yeah, I mean, what you should do is to get together and maybe form something and slowly organize and connect to other parties, and one day it will be big and powerful. I mean, yeah, because like all the parties started that. The Communist Party of Vietnam started in the 1930s with like 4 or 5 members. That was it. And we were totally like in a secret phase at that time, that like because if we did not protect our identity well at that time, we would be executed by the colonial government in Vietnam at the time, that run by the French. So yeah, Vietnam, like at least for the first 15 years of the existence of the Communist Party of Vietnam, we had to exist under very strong security system because of the threat coming from outside. And in 1945, when they had a revolution, the first time, Vietnam could be openly having a communist party running the country, and that was when we, openly like work with other country like communist party all over the world. So yeah, every party started from small group of the small communists like that. The USSR had a worker councils, which was the backbone of the revolution. So these industrial unions would be more robust since it's a rank and file system. I'm talking about the union, so it is, yeah, the workers and workers union is literally the backbone of the revolution in Vietnam too. This is very important. So several people asked me what is the role, how important it was, of the workers in Vietnam in the revolution. And I had to say that the workers were the core force power of the revolution of Vietnam and the Communist Party of Vietnam too. And yes, and it is very important for workers to join a union in your workplace, to get radicalized, to receive education, to be exposed to theories, Marxism, Leninism, learn about communism, to join together, to form a powerful force, and then later to lead a revolution.
Show pictures of the Union militia members that fought France.
Yeah, let me see. So in Vietnam, especially in here, I show you pictures of the old time. Let me look for it. Oh, behind. what do you call it? Like I forgot the Vietnamese name for them. The Vietnamese name.
Malicious. You got a tweet.
Mm.
You got a tweet with a picture.
Yeah. Can you look for that tweet and send me? I'm trying now.
Open Google Chat.
Yep.
Or something.
Mm-hmm. Can't find it. All right, Google Chat.
Just type in Luna Oy _VN Union in Twitter search. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, if you type in @Luna Oy VN, it's like the fifth one down.
Really? I couldn't see it. Different algorithm?
No, did you make sure to put the @Luna Oy _VN space union in Twitter search?
All right. Okay. Got it. Louise. Stop screen. All right. Share this one. Yeah. All right. Oh my God, so slow. Well, here we go. All right. So this is armed resistance in Vietnam largely emerged from workers' unions. In our fight against fascist Japan, unionized workplace created uniform community defense units who fought against and sabotaged the enemy and organized our struggle for independence. Yes, this is pictures in the museum Vietnam, the B-52 museum in Vietnam, and these are the workers, union members, who they formed together, unionized together, and they armed themselves to protect, the Hanoi people in 1972 against the bombing raids from the Ho Chi Minh. He a member of self-defense force of Hong Ha stationary factory in working and fighting. So yeah, this is how close it is for, be a worker, member of a worker union, and join the fight, join the revolution. I mean, yeah. What led to your radicalization into a communist? I was born and living in Vietnam my whole life. And I grew up learning about Marx and Engels and Lenin, poetry about them, the stories about their life. And I was like a little kid in primary school and middle school and high school or something like that. So I always like very much of like, good knowledge and, like love Uncle Marx, Uncle Lenin, and Uncle Engels. So yeah, we call them all uncles, by the way. Then I'm a Ho Chi Minh too. And then I learned about a little bit about, the history of Vietnam, the resistance history of Vietnam against all kinds of enemies from early age too, thanks to our education system. And then in the university, I learned about Marxism, Leninism. I learned about, the exploitation nature of capitalism and about surplus value and of the exploitation coming from capitalism like that. But also at the same time, my dad is, as you usually make fun of him, like a hardcore tanky, but my dad is a communist. My brother is also a communist. My grandpa, one of my grandpa, he was a martyr, died in 1968 in Tet Offensive in the south of Vietnam. The other grandpa joined the resistance war against colonialist French in 1954. He was the one who carried the rice for the soldiers on the mountain to feed them. So I mean, I grew up in that kind of environment, and I was always very, passionate about communism and about revolution. And but also, I was at the same time, I was not that kind of, vocal about it, because it's just like a normal thing that how I grow up with, and I always have that feeling, but I didn't feel the need to be out loud about it, because I like most of the society around me is like communist like that. And the thing that really made me today is when in 2019, when I started my YouTube channel. At first, I just wanted my channel to be about Vietnamese cooking and Vietnamese traveling. So if you go back to my channel to like 3 4 years ago, it's just a video of me traveling around Vietnam, introducing the beautiful places of Vietnam, the history of Vietnam, and also teach you how to make Vietnamese food. But then around like half a year after that, and getting in like exposed to Western like audience, people kept asking me question about Vietnam, because they know that I am Vietnamese living in Vietnam, so I must know everything about Vietnam. So they started asking me a lot of questions about the history of Vietnam, about communism, about the government, about the Communist Party. And I saw a lot of misinformation there. And I was like, holy smokes, I guess I have to talk about this now, because I cannot bear this anymore. I cannot bear it, like seeing like misinformation floating around and not addressing it. And that was why my channel now become like a more political channel, about to tell you about the actual Vietnam from a Vietnamese perspective, about the most common things in Vietnam that most of Vietnamese people believe and think. So yeah, I mean, what radicalized me into a communist was first our education and our history. And the second, it was the ignorance coming from Western audience. That now I am become, a communist, online speaking English, and expose myself to the toxicity of the Western audience. Nice. And also the funny thing, like, I mean, I usually laugh about this, but it also have sad too. I grew up in extreme poverty. I had a video talking about my poor childhood, that I didn't have electricity for half of a day, and eating beef was like luxury, that I could only do it twice a month or something like that. Most of the food came from our own garden or our own pond, and it was really poor like that. But then, I mean, now, my country developed really, really, really fast. And I am now streaming to you, speaking to you in English. And also, even though the sad fact is that even though I was born and raised in a poverty, extreme poverty like that, but I never faced racism in my life. Never racism. The first time I faced racism was when I went to Twitter and Reddit and started my YouTube channel and talked to people from outside of Vietnam, and just received like racist comments. Like, I was like, oh, holy shit. I mean, for the 27 years in my life, I never faced racism, and now apparently when I went online into English speaking sphere, I faced racism. It sucks. And imagine people who, non-white people born in that society, and all the way through like growing up, they had to deal with that kind of racism. Of course, it is traumatizing. Of course, like, I just faced this online, and it's already traumatizing to me. Imagine if you grow up in that kind of environment. That is why I feel like so lucky that we won the revolution, that we can determine our own fate, have our own independence and freedom. Vietnamese people, running our own country and controlling our own fate. That is why I can grow up without facing any racism, even though it's in extreme poverty. But I do rather live in a society where there's no racism. Yeah. Oh, good night. Good night, snake. Good night, Ouroboros snake. Thank you for your nice word. What did I think about my time in America? The nature is very beautiful. Yes, it is very beautiful, breathtaking, like no doubt about it. Because I was born and living in Vietnam in tropical country, so mostly I just see green tree, green leaves like all year long. But in the USA, I got to see the trees in the winter, and it's really really beautiful, and the leaves changing the colors, and the nature is very different, and it's really extremely beautiful. And the food is also good because you have a lot of like different kind of countries food, and I love it, like Caribbean food, Mexican food, Japanese food, Korean food, Italian food. Yes, so yeah, so like that. The mainly the sad thing that I realized over there is that first of all, you do not have a good public transportation. So mostly whenever you want to travel far, you have to drive your own car or take airplane, which is very expensive. You do not have food, which is sad because it is very expensive over there, and it is hard for me whenever I just like feel like I need some snack before dinner, but I couldn't because virtually no street food. Affordable street food, you have some food truck, yeah, but there's nothing compared to Vietnam. Yeah, and also like this mass shooting is also a very concerning problem, like that. Checking the chat right now. Oh my God, solidarity, Conrad Luna. Thank you so much. In Brazil, 90% of workers live on less than 3,000 reals, and to live reasonably well here, you need to earn from at least 5 to 6,000. I know, it's tough in Brazil right now, and I need to catch up with what been like what Lula's been up lately about what's been going on. But all the remnants from the fascist government of Bolsonaro still very strong over there. And what's up with Bolsonaro? Is he still in the USA, or is he back yet? Or what country is he in right now? Haven't heard of him in so long. Did you learn about Che in school? I think that I did learn about Che in Latin America in history class in middle school and in high school. We learn about Latin America history, about Chile and Argentina and Brazil, and about all the Pinochet and Allende, basic stuff like that. Venezuela too, yeah. Did you have a favorite food history cooking YouTuber? Me? Just kidding. I mostly watch history is from the Tien Tien Di. Is that only in Vietnamese though? I mean, Tien Tien Di is a famous streamer in Vietnam, and he made a lot of videos about talking about history of the war against the U.S. and the French in Vietnam, and it's great. And he has like over 1 million subscribers. It's great, and it's only in Vietnamese though. And from cooking channels, I mostly watch cooking channels from like Chinese cooking channel. They're really great because I love the aesthetics over there. Oh, thank you so much, Bees Blaze. My channel, your channel was very important in my radicalization. Huh? I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very, very happy. Oh, yeah. As an Indian, I can't tell you how much privilege I personally get from being born into a higher caste, whatever that means. The caste-based discrimination is a huge, huge issue over here. Yes, I do know about that. I do learn about that. And I really hope that, communists in India can somehow deal with this issue. And yeah, and that caste system, which is totally inhumane, out of date, and doesn't do any good to the society, especially if you are communist and socialist. Yes, Middlebury.
Did you finish typing that report?
I haven't.
Well, you got 5 minutes. 5 minutes left in the stream, folks. What did you finish your assigned tasks?
Bolsonaro is well worn out, but Bolsonarism is still strong. Several Brazilian states are with the extreme right. I mean, yeah.
Don't forget, everybody. In 1 month, the price of the book is going to go up $2.
And what
So
book is
order
that?
now.
This is this book. This is the curriculum with the basic principles of Marxism-Leninism. And this is part 1, talking about dialectical materialism. And I'm very proud of this work. And within a month, next month, the price will be up because the printing house of ours just raised the price without any good explanation about it, and we couldn't do anything about it because it sucks.
Where's the Banyan House thing? There it is.
Yeah. So if you're considering getting a hard copy, please check out banyanhouse.org. Or you can get an online version in the same website, and you can just get it for free.
Or you can donate if you want to support the translation work.
Mm-hmm.
This is my turn to tell Luna I'm hungry.
Wow. You're hungry? She just, okay. Yeah, true. All right. Okay. Come right internet. Oh.
I don't give a fuck about the cost of the book rising. I will still buy multiple copies to share with folks. Well, that's nice. Thank you
That's
so
very
much.
nice.
We just want to give people a heads up. Should be, I think, June 20th it's going to go up. So you got about a month. Was there any other announcements we got to make?
That's it, I think. Eating time.
Eating time.
Yup.
We might finally be back in our studio soon. That's a good thing. Than this crappy lighting we've been dealing with.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
Is that better?
Right. Too bright. Okay. I have Lunia, your video on dialectical materialism is what radicalized me after several years of being curious about communism. Thank you so much. It's very, 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 very sweet of you to say that, and I am very happy that I can somehow have, give you information that you've been looking for.
Tell a ghost story.
Once upon a time, there was a dog who died.
A dog who died? It's too sad.
And then the ghost became immortal. And that dog went to the kingdom in the sky and become a dog living with the fairies and with the
How is this a ghost story? This sucks. This is the worst ghost story I've ever heard.
It's a happy ghost story. After
No,
death.
their dog died.
But then it's so live forever in the kingdom of the sky. All right. Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. This Vietnamese girl laughed so hard at my made-up ghost story. The ghost of communism. That dog was a middle management dog.
No, not Middlebury.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you next time. And Ijo is very hungry, so he's playing
I'm having
with the
fun
light.
playing with the light.
I mean, it looks kind of cool, actually. You should do that. That's,
Cinematography is painting with light.
like that. See?
You almost
Kinda
knocked your
cool.
camera down.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.